Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a really fascinating look into the mechanics of golf ball flight.
Yeah, it's a great topic.
Specifically, we're going to break down how something like a launch monitor actually helps golfers understand why the ball does what it does. You know,
Right, getting beyond just seeing the shot shape to knowing the cause.
exactly. And our mission, like always, is to pull out the really key insights from the sources we've looked at to give you that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed on this. It's kind of niche, maybe, but really impactful stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's not just golf, right?
Yeah.
It's about seeing these complex interactions and making them, well, understandable.
Yeah, understanding the physics behind it all.
Get ready for some aha moments, I think. We're going to uncover some surprising things about spin, trajectory, like
Okay.
why hitting it perfectly square might not be the goal you think it is, stuff that could genuinely change how you see the game.
And that change really boils down to the numbers. This dive is going to show the specific things, club path, and, crucially, the face angle relative to that path that have such a profound impact on where your ball actually ends up.
Right.
It's all about understanding how those pieces fit together.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. When we talk about understanding ball flight, our sources really hammer home terms like path and face angle. Maybe start there. For anyone new to this level of detail, what exactly do those mean, and why are they so critical?
Yeah, good place to start. So let's break them down. First, path. Basically, it's the direction the center of the club head is moving horizontally through impact. Think of it as your swing direction, but measured right at the ball relative to the target line.
Okay, swing direction at impact. Got it.
Then you've got face angle. This one's pretty straightforward. It's just where the club face itself is pointing, left or right, again, relative to the target line at that exact moment of impact.
Right, where the face is aimed.
Exactly. And then the really key one, face to path. Now, this isn't adding them together. It's the difference between your face angle and your path. So it's the angle of the club face compared to the direction the club is actually moving.
Ah, okay, the difference.
Yeah, and that difference is what primarily dictates the spin on the golf ball. Side spin, specifically. Understanding how all three of these, play off each other. That's the absolute key.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So many of us, right, have had those days where the ball just seems determined to go, I don't know, way right or way left, like a slice that won't quit or that hook that dives into the trees.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
It's so frustrating when you just don't know why it's happening. And our sources, they really dig into the why. Can you walk us through maybe a specific example of a common bad shot?
Absolutely. Let's take what the sources often call a bad pull hook. You know the one. Ball starts left, curves even more left, maybe ends up, say, 100 feet left of your target. Massive miss.
Yeah, painfully familiar.
So here's what the data typically shows for that shot. The
Uh-huh.
path might actually be positive, meaning the club is swinging slightly out to the right relative to the target line, let's say, hypothetically, 2 degrees right.
Okay, swinging right.
But, and here's the kicker, the face angle is negative, meaning it's pointing left of the target. And crucially, it's a larger number in magnitude than the path. So maybe the face is like 6 degrees left.
Oh, okay, so path is 2 right, face is 6 left. Big difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
And because that face is pointing so far left compared to the path, that's an 8-degree face-to-path difference, close, it slams a whole lot of left spin onto the ball, hook spin.
Right.
So the result, it launches left because the face is pointing left, and then it keeps curving hard left because of all that spin. And the source mentioned, like, of that 100 feet offline, maybe 40 feet of it is just the curve.
Wow. Okay, so the spin adds a lot. What about another common one? Still going left, maybe?
Yeah, let's look at another still left example. Maybe not quite as dramatic, but still frustrating. In this one, the path might actually be, say, 4 degrees to the right, even more out to the right.
Okay, so you'd think that should help, right? Swinging right should push it right.
You'd think. But again, look at the face angle. Let's say it's 5 degrees left. Again, it's a larger number in magnitude than the path number.
Still larger. 5 versus 4.
Exactly. So even though you're swinging out to the right, that club face is still significantly closed relative to that path. The face to path is still negative, still closed. So it launches a bit left, generates that left spin again, and yep, the ball still ends up left of the target.
So it seems like the pattern here for these bad left shots is that face angle number being bigger magnitude-wise than the path number.
That's the core issue in these examples, yes. When the face angle is further from 0 than the path angle is, and in the same direction relative to the path, like closed left in these cases, you get these shots that start left and stay left or curve even more left.
So, okay, if that's what goes wrong, how do we get it right? What's the secret to hitting those nice controlled shots, like a draw or a fade?
Right, and this is, I think, one of the most important things you can really understand using a LaunchMonitor, getting those controlled shapes. The key principle our sources highlight for hitting draws or fades consistently involves two main things.
Okay.
First, the face angle and the path need to have opposite signs. So if the path is positive, right, the face needs to be negative left, or vice versa.
Opposite signs. Path right, face left. Or path left, face right. Gotcha.
Second, and this is just as important, the face angle number must be smaller in magnitude than the path number.
Smaller. Okay, wait. So opposite signs, but the face number is closer to 0 than the path number. Like path 4 right, face maybe 2 left.
Exactly. That's the perfect example for a draw. That delicate balance, as you put it. It sounds precise, and it is, but it's the principle that matters.
How tough is that to actually do consistently for, the average golfer? Is it about hitting those exact numbers or more just understanding the concept?
It's more about understanding the concept so you know what you're working towards. It's not about perfection every single swing. Nobody does that. It's about building a feel for that relationship. So let's take draws. For a draw, you want that leftward curve. That means you need a negative face to path, which, as we just said, usually means path positive, swinging right, and face angle negative, pointing slightly left.
Right.
The ideal combo described is exactly like your example. Path positive, let's say 4 degrees right, face angle negative, maybe 2 degrees left. See how the face angle -2 is opposite in sign to the path, +4, and it's smaller in magnitude. 2 is smaller than 4.
Okay.
That specific setup means the face is slightly close to the target line, but slightly open to the path. That negative face to path imparts left spin, a gloss spin. The sources call it a negative spin axis.
So it spins like a top tilted left.
Precisely. And what happens? The ball launches slightly right of the target because the path dominates initial direction more than the face angle when the difference is small. But then that draw spin curves it back gently to the left, ideally right back towards the center. Controlled flight.
Nice. Okay, so what about the fade? The opposite, I guess.
Exactly the inverse.
Yes,
For a fade, you want rightward curve. So you need a positive face to path. That typically means a path that's negative, swinging left, and a face angle that's positive, pointing slightly right.
Path left, face right.
You got it. And again, the face angle magnitude needs to be smaller than the path magnitude, where maybe path is 4 degrees left, -4, and the face is 2 degrees right, +2.
Opposite signs, face number smaller. Same rule.
The exact principle, just flick signs. This setup makes the face slightly open to the target, but slightly closed to the path. That positive face to path imparts right spin, fade spin, positive spin axis.
Spins like a top tilted right.
Correct. So the ball launches slightly left of the target line, and then that fade spin curves it back gently to the right, again, hopefully near the center. And the sources really emphasize, better players understand this. They use these shot shapes intentionally.
Right, they're not just hitting it straight, they're controlling the curve.
Exactly. So paying attention to your path and your face-to-path numbers on a monitor, striving for that opposite sign, smaller magnitude relationship, that's how you start to control the ball like they do.
That's a huge insight. And brings up something I think confuses a lot of golfers, myself definitely included sometimes. We often hear you should aim for a perfectly square club face at impact. 0 degrees face angle. Is that actually the ideal?
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions out there, and the sources are really clear on this. A perfectly square face angle, 0 degrees relative to the target, does not automatically produce the best results. It's not the holy grail.
Really?
Why not? Well, think about it. Even if your face is perfectly square to the target, 0 degrees, your path could still be, say, 4 degrees to the right. Now your face to path is -4 degrees. That's still going to put draw spin on the ball, right?
Ah, okay. So even with a square face, the path can still make it curve.
Exactly. The ball's going to start pretty straight, maybe slightly right because of the path, but it's definitely going to curve left because of that spin created by the face relative to the path. So the real goal isn't some mythical 0-degree face angle. It's about achieving the right amount of spin, the right face-to-path relationship to get the ball curving back to your target line in a controlled way.
It's about controlling the curve, not necessarily eliminating it.
Precisely. It's managing the curve, using that relationship between path and face.
Okay, so let's try and boil this down then. For you, the listener, wanting to apply this, maybe next time you're on a launch monitor or just thinking about your swing, what are those key combinations again?
Okay, the absolute core takeaway is this. For controlled draws and fades, The face angle relative to the path needs to be, number one, on the opposite side, different signs, plus or plus plus, and number two, a smaller number in magnitude.
Opposite side, smaller number.
Yep, so breaking it down simply, for draws, you generally want a positive path, swinging right, plus, and a negative face angle, pointing left, with the face angle number being smaller than the path number. That gives you a negative spin axis, the draw spin.
Path right, face left, but less left. Makes sense.
And for fades, you want the opposite, a negative path, swinging left, and a positive face angle, pointing right, plus, again with the face angle number being smaller than the path number. That gives you a positive spin axis, the fade spin.
Pass left, face right, but less right. Got it.
Understanding and working towards those principles, especially if you have access to a launch monitor to see your actual numbers, can genuinely dramatically improve your control over where the ball goes. It helps you finally understand why your shots do what they do.
And crucially, how to start changing it.
Exactly. It gives you the roadmap.
Fantastic stuff. Well, that just about wraps up our deep dive today into the really interesting mechanics of golf ball flight. Thanks so much for joining us on this one.
My pleasure. And maybe a final thought to leave people with.
Hmm.
As you think about this golf stuff, consider how often we jump to the obvious solution, like needing that perfectly square club face, without really digging into the underlying mechanics.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Where else in life might we be doing that? Assuming the simple answer is right, without maybe looking at the data or the deeper interactions,
Yeah.
might be worth thinking about what other areas could benefit from a deeper dive beyond just the conventional wisdom.
That is a brilliant thought. Okay,
Right.
everyone, go forth, continue your own deep dives, whatever sparks your interest, and maybe apply a little bit of this analytical thinking. We'll catch you next time right here on The Deep Dive.